Hi, Tori. Welcome to 73 Questions with Vogue. I'm super excited to interview you today. How's your day going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So this is basically just a rapid fire style that'll touch on lifestyle, personal habits, challenges, successes, and more. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
What is the first thing you do when you wake up?
Look on my phone.
How do you take your coffee?
With extra cream and extra sugar and a little bit of coffee.
What's your favorite way to start the day?
My favorite way to start the day is with a workout.
How do you unwind after a long day of trading?
I disassociate and binge watch a series.
What's your go-to snack during a busy trading session?
I like imitation crab.
Do you follow a specific daily routine?
No, not really.
What's something you always have on your desk while trading?
Well, I actually always trade on my phone, so not necessarily at a desk, so I always have my phone.
How do you stay focused throughout the day?
I get off social media.
How many hours do you sleep each night?
Plenty. 12, maybe sometimes more.
What's the most underrated habit that's contributed to your success?
Doing things when you're not motivated and just doing them.
How do you balance work and life as a day trader?
I don't think there is balance.
What is your guilty pleasure on a day off?
My guilty pleasure on a day off is absolutely closing all the curtains, closing the blinds, cranking the AC down to 69, all lights off, in bed, comfy cozy, candles lit, movies.
What's the last book you read that had a big impact on you?
The 5 Levels of Leadership.
How does travel affect your trading?
When I'm traveling, I'm not usually as focused, but since I am swing trading, it doesn't necessarily change.
What podcast or show do you like to tune into regularly?
Words of wisdom.
What's your favorite way to spend the weekend?
I like seeing family, taking my pup on a run or a hike, and watching TV.
What's one non-work related skill that you're trying to master?
I've been trying to master yoga for a hot minute. I do hot yoga and have been doing hot yoga for years now, but I've never reached maximum potential. I could be so much better.
What's your favorite workout or physical activity then?
Hot yoga and right now trail running.
How do you manage stress during volatile market days?
I try to do breath work. I want to say meditation, but I've never done meditation. I'm sure that would help, but it's usually just breath work, and anytime that I find myself kind of zooming in or truly trying to zoom into the candle or just a few candles, I can tell that I'm trying to micromanage my trade, and every time I just zoom out and look at a bigger picture, it always helps.
Do you have a lucky charm or ritual before you start trading?
Kinda. When I get into a trade and it's 888 or it's 333 or it's an even number or a round number or an angel number, that makes me feel good about a trade. I know it's totally random, but yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've ever received is, okay, here's a good one. Dogs are always gonna bark, and you can't stop and throw rocks at every single dog along the journey. You have got to just ignore them at some point and continue to walk. And that was a metaphor to letting every piece of criticism online completely take over my mindset. And it was to just forget it and to continue moving forward.
Who's your biggest inspiration outside of finance?
Outside of finance? Who do I look up to that's not even in the financial space? I want to say Ana de Amas.
How come?
I mean, just to start in the Spanish-speaking space and then to make it on the big screens, next to actors like Ryan Gosling and James Bond, and the start that she had, I think is incredibly inspiring.
All right, we're gonna switch into some career questions. Is that cool?
That's cool, let's do it.
Okay, how did you get into day trading?
I got into day trading because a family member taught me.
And what was your very first trade?
I don't remember my very first trade. I have it recorded, but I cannot remember that one because I think I blacked out. I had a literal audience watching me. I can't remember my very first trade or even some of the first few. I think maybe it was Netflix or Google. I definitely remember trading Chipotle a lot.
What's the most memorable trade you've ever made?
The most memorable trade I've ever made. It was the Ethereum trade that I got into where I was in $30,000 worth of drawdown and it came all the way back up to positive $48.
What was your biggest loss and how did you handle it?
So that wasn't it. That was closed at 48 profit. So my biggest closed loss, I think it was last year. I held a trade for too long and I believe it was around $15,000 to maybe $17,000. That's my biggest loss. And to be honest, I can't really remember. I think it was at some point, some trade last year and it wasn't done gracefully, but it wasn't that crazy.
What's the biggest learning moment in your career?
Also the Ethereum trade. There were 2 times where there was very similar situations in my life. The first one, I froze and was not willing to close a trade or ready to solidify the loss. And I texted my sister that I may lose all my money and give up on trading. And I was in a similar situation with my Ethereum trade where I just wasn't willing to solidify the loss. Now it was a different kind of freeze. Like I didn't freeze because I didn't know what to do and I was terrified, but it was more of ego and I didn't want to have to show social media or tell social media that I took this loss and traded incorrectly, so I couldn't solidify the loss that way. But 2 times where I just held a loss or was in drawdown for way too long.
How do you stay motivated after a tough trading day?
Yesterday was tough. I had to close a $13,000 loss and I was so close to hitting a goal, and I just have to come back to reality of like there's always going to be moves. There's always going to be another move, another opportunity, and to truly believe that.
What's the most common misconception about day trading?
That it's gambling, and it is absolutely not.
What's the most exciting part of your job?
That I get to just press buttons on a phone and make almost $200,000 in a year. That still blows my mind. That's not real.
What's the toughest part of being a day trader?
Seeing money just disappear into thin air. $13,000 gone. Just poof yesterday.
What are you most proud of in your career?
That I was able to make a strategy as simple as trend reversals as profitable as it is.
What's one mistake you'll never make again?
I mean, I want to say that it's not being able to solidify a loss when my strategy tells me, but I think I will make that mistake again. I mean, the time difference between the first time I did it where I froze up and held in drawdown and the next one, I think that was like 4 or 5 years in between. So if I can make that mistake once every 5 years, I think I'll be all right, hopefully.
How do you handle the pressure when the market isn't going your way?
Having trust in my trend lines and in the strategy itself.
What's one trait every successful trader should have?
Every successful trader should have. I think it's the confidence and the vision of the future. Like if you know you are going to be successful and you know what the vision is, little losses won't take so much of a toll on you. When you do take a loss, it's just you're able to continue. You're able to be like, okay, it's not one trade, it's the next 100 trades that I'm kind of striving for.
What's the most common mistake beginner traders make?
Get rich quick. They think in 3 months you will make $1 million, and that is so far-fetched.
How did you handle your first big loss?
My very first big loss, I think it wasn't my very first big loss, but it was my first losing streak. It was loss. Now they weren't huge, but it was an accumulation of just taking loser. I cried in my bed. And I remember I was in San Diego and had to go back to sim trading, and that was a devastating day.
What's the biggest risk you've ever taken in trading?
Oh, the Ethereum all day. I think that position cost me like $100,000 maybe 50,000. It was somewhere between 50. I know that's a crazy broad scope, and I should know the answer, but I don't. But it was somewhere between like $50,000 and $100,000. It was not spot Ethereum. I was trading crypto futures, so it was the futures version of Ethereum, and it cost me a significant amount of money to hold that position.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self when you first started?
That you are going to be a force to be reckoned with, and do not let anyone veer you or make you believe otherwise.
What's the most challenging aspect of reading the market?
That there's just thousands of ways to read the market. And if you can find the most simple way to read it and understand it and identify movements and interpret it, the more simple way that you can find a way to do that resonates with you, the better.
How do you stay ahead of market trends?
I don't necessarily stay ahead of anything. I don't try to predict movement. I'm just trying to follow what the price does.
How has trading changed since you started?
Ooh, trading has changed significantly since I started. One is the platform that I trade on. So now I trade on TradingView. I can add alerts on my trend lines. I trade in the 4-hour time frame now versus the 5-minute when I used to. I used to trade like 10 different instruments. Now I only trade like 2. So I'm gonna say less instruments, higher time frame, less chart time, and a more intuitive platform.
Do you have a particular trading strategy that you follow?
I sure do. It is trend reversals.
How much of trading success is luck versus skill?
I think a lot of people can get lucky at the beginning and then think they know it all and then will lose it all. But it is all skill.
All right, now we're gonna jump into reflections and success.
Reflections and success. Let's do it.
What are you most proud of in your life?
Wow, what am I most proud of? I'm proud of it all. I'm proud of juggling everything that I do. I'm proud of the entrepreneurial mindset that I've had and continue to nurture and expand on. I'm proud of the mindset of having multiple streams of income. I'm proud of living out my dream of being in front of the camera. It may not be an actress or a newscaster, but I'm a content creator, and that's close enough.
What does success mean to you?
Success means you are able to spend more time with your family. You don't have to worry about finances. You don't have to look at the price of things. You don't have to worry if, your car breaks down or a friend or a family member needs some help. That's success, is being able to spend time when you need to travel when you want to, and to not really have to worry about finances.
What has been your biggest sacrifice for success?
Ooh, my biggest sacrifice is not being understood. The family never really understood trading, and as much as I wanted them to understand what I was doing and to push me. Now I say the family. Uncle Mike knew what I was doing, but there was a point where Uncle Mike and I were not talking every day, and I still had to continue to push through trading years after, and no one really understand what I'm doing, and to kind of have to do it alone.
What's been your biggest career highlight so far?
My biggest career highlight so far has just been being one of the few that have the credentials or the statements to back up what I say and what I'm doing.
If you weren't a day trader, what do you think you'd be doing?
If I was not trading, I think I would probably have tried a lot harder to become a professional cyclist.
What's the best investment you've ever made outside of trading?
I would say into myself, learning how to code websites to help me, work for myself and no longer have to show up to Einstein Bagels at 4 o'clock in the morning to make the freaking coffee and ride my bike to work. It would be when I invested in myself and learned how to do things myself, learn to trade, learn how to make websites, to code, to do marketing, do graphic design. I don't do graphic design, I do Canva, you know what I'm saying? But to learn how to do things myself, that was the biggest investment, to where I no longer had to work for someone. I got to be my own boss because I invested in skills myself.
What's your proudest moment outside of trading?
Outside of trading, I would say it was cycling for sure. It was racing. It was being an athlete. It's insane. I would travel to like Milan and LA and Texas and Brooklyn to do these bike races, and they were dangerous at that. And I think that was such a proud moment. I relive those all the time.
What's one thing you wish more people knew about being a day trader?
I wish people understood that it's really hard. It's that it takes a toll on you, and even though I preach that I have a simple system, it's still not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's still stressful. It still took years to master my instruments, develop relationship with my instruments, master my time frames, my psychology. So it takes a lot more time than I think the average person thinks.
How do you celebrate your victories?
I don't usually go out and buy anything. When I have a really big win, it's not like I go buy something crazy. I think how do I celebrate? I think the last time I celebrated, I actually bought my little brother some new shoes and an iPad and some new school clothes. So maybe I do buy stuff, but it's just not for me.
What's the best decision you've made in your career?
To continue to pursue trading even when I didn't see the results.
If you could teach everyone one thing about money, what would it be?
Is that there is a way to acquire it. There are so many different ways. it kind of goes back to saying that there is an abundance of money to be made. It's just tapping into it. Find a skill that you can hone in on and just hit it hard. I mean, even if it's not trading, if it's a business that you want to start, if it's a trade that you want to excel at or be the best at, like, I think there is money to be made. I mean, I was making money before trading. I was making money coding websites. I was making money doing marketing. I was even trying to take photos for people and videos for people and help them with their social media or their business. I think there is money to be made. You've just got to find your niche. You've got to find that skill and hone in on it. But it's there. It's there. The money is there.
All right, let's talk about some fun stuff and your future.
Ooh, okay.
What's your favorite trading platform or tool?
Okay, favorite trading platform is TradingView, hands down. And then that leads into the favorite tool, which is the trendline alerts. That has changed my life and my trading. My chart time is minimal now, and I can truly wait for the price to tell me when I need to enter my trade. So when the price breaks out of one of these trend lines, TradingView gives me the alert on my phone or on my Apple Watch or on my laptop, wherever I am watching the chart or wherever I'm trading at, it will give me that alert, and it's hands down the coolest feature and tool ever.
If you had to pick a different profession, what would it be?
A different profession outside of trading. It would be, I think, acting. That'd be way cool to be an actress.
What's your dream vacation destination?
I'll be honest, I don't have one. I think that's a question a lot of people have asked me, and I don't have this crazy place that one day if I get here and I do this, it's more of a concept. If I can take my entire family to somewhere tropical and that's kid-friendly and spend a week there, that's the dream. That's the dream vacation. Whatever that destination is, it could be Hawaii, it could be Puerto Rico, it could be Bali, it could be somewhere way cool, but if I could take my family with me and enjoy the tropical vibes of a vacation and make sure that the kids can come too, that would be the dream vacation right there.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years from now, I'm gonna say in 5 years from now, I'm making the millies. I'm making millions in trading profits. I've got millions of followers, and I'm making millions from my other investments and businesses.
If you could have a dinner with 3 people, dead or alive?
Oh, come on, that's so hard. 3 people, dead or alive. I'm gonna say one has to be Dale Carnegie. The next one is Don Miguel Ruiz. And then the third one, we've got someone who is like thinking outside the box spiritually. We've got someone who is like, they understand people. And then who would be the third person? The third person would be, this is gonna sound way cheesy, but I think Taylor Swift. Like, she is such a freaking successful woman. Like, oh my gosh. Just to tap into that for a sec. Like, between, if I could choose Beyonce or Taylor Swift, one of the two, whoever's available, just to tap into a little bit of that. So those would be the 3 people.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone just starting out in day trading?
Invest as much time as you would into getting a degree if you're gonna get into trading. If you can look at it that way and know that, okay, if you want a master's or you want an associate's, you're obviously gonna make more if you can commit 4 years to it and then be successful. Or you're willing to give it 2 years, then maybe that's just your associates. But just maybe associating it more so with college degrees and professions, and not just thinking, you know, you'll get profitable or consistent in months.
And that concludes our 73 questions with Vogue. Thank you so much, Tori Trades. Hope you have a great night.
Thanks for having me. That was awesome. So much fun.